Giant squid! I like it!
Hey, welcome back to Gaming Legends. Today we're talking about Diablo 2.
We go back to the year 2000, the year that didn't quite deliver what was promised. Luckily, Diablo 2 wasn't one of them. Developed by Blizzard, this hack-and-slash gothic RPG captured the hearts of gamers everywhere. If we were in Scotland, they would say, "Hi, that Blizzard game Diablo's belterisna." The name Diablo came about because David Brevik, the game's creator, lived in San Francisco at the base of Mount Diablo. They began discussing the idea of Diablo 2 3 months after the first game launched. Believe it or not, the developers were actually sick of Diablo since they worked so hard on the first game. But guess what? You don't always get what you want. Because of this, there was no real design document for the game. They kinda just made it up as they went along. Great job on Act 1. How should we start Act 2?
Giant squid!
Well, that's not really a plot, but okay, what does the giant squid want?
Donuts!
Interesting. Where did the giant squid come from?
Space!
I like it! Because of this relaxed approach, they ended up running massively late, so they were like,
It's the final countdown!
David Brevik and some of his team worked 12-hour days for a whole year. He only took off 4 days the entire period, but then, days from finishing the game, they lost all of their source code due to corruption. So they were like, cool, we got a backup, right? It turns out they backed up their code using Microsoft's Visual Source Safe, which turned out to be Visual Source not so safe.
What? That's crazy! What they had to do was salvage everything from people's computers back home. So like one person might have the character selection screen, another person might have the code for like inventory, and they Frankensteined everything back together in 1 week.
Some things were lost forever.
There's some stuff that will never be recovered. We had a lot of like 3D models for some of the monsters and things like that.
An interesting point is they could have made the game 3D, but they chose not to. It just goes to show it's better to have a good 2D game than a bad 3D one. Now the story picks up from Diablo 1. After the hero in the first game defeats Diablo, they actually become possessed by him. This is narrated by characters in Diablo 2, stating that the hero started acting strange before finally leaving town. So your character tracks down this dark wanderer through 4 different acts until he's like,
"Surprise, motherfucker!"
and your character's like, what? And then they fight.
You can pick from 5 characters. You got the Amazon, who's like bows and spears and dexterity, and then you got the Necromancer, who's like raising the dead. Then you got the Barbarian, who, well, says it all. Then you got the Sorceress, who uses magic, and then lastly you've got the Paladin, who's like defense and auras, which buff the whole team.
The combat system is a simple point-and-click mechanic. Left-click to attack, and right-click to use a skill. Speaking of skills, Diablo's use of the skill tree concept paved the way for many RPGs that followed. In a skill tree system, you choose whether you want to develop one collection of skills or a little bit of everything. Combine this with the many unique items you can find in the game means that there are thousands of combinations to build the same class. This kept the players interested many years after launch. The game also takes you on a great adventure through grasslands, deserts, swamps, and literally to hell. But for some reason, everyone always speaks English, even in hell. There was also a free online multiplayer where you could fight other players, but your mileage varied because they were still using dial-up back then. Remember that? Game summary time. It could be argued that the game lacks depth, in the sense that there's not really any puzzles to solve, just things to kill. In fact, killing is all you do, but the game does it well. So well in fact that it killed it in the sales, pulling in 1 million copies sold in 1 month. Diablo 2 was actually in the Guinness Book of Records in the year 2000 for fastest selling computer game ever sold. What made it so successful were great cinematics, a robust combat system, excellent selection of skills, but most of all, atmosphere. The game captures the gothic medieval feel very well with excellent artwork that really sucks you into this fantasy world. And atmosphere is something that's lacking in a lot of modern day games. Diablo 2 was the game that didn't want to be made, but in doing so touched the lives of millions across the world and permanently put Blizzard on the map. And if you missed the live stream, here are the best bits.
Ooh, look, it's called the Den of Evil. You want to go inside. When you hear that, you just want to go inside. Stop reviving them, you bastard! You ever met anyone and they're just like, oh hey, you know, I'm a DJ, you know, I'm quite famous, I'm quite a big deal, and you're like, that's cool, I didn't ask you though. Nice! We've cornered her, she can't do anything now. She's taking a bloody long time to die though, let's just backshot her. Sometimes it happens in these RPGs, you kill people, they come back as a ghost and go, you freed me from my prison. What the hell's Obi doing here? I thought he died. And he's like, no, I came back as a ghost, so I can talk to you and stuff and give you advice. It's really weird, man, but okay, why not?
So if you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share and subscribe. And if you haven't, let us know how we can improve. You can also leave a comment on what games you would like to see covered as well. Next week's episode is on Jet Force Gemini. See you then.